Has she communicated? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Um, we hope there's a day she told me she forgot, and that's why sometimes when I get time I call. I don't know what she does. Um, so let's continue. Yeah, so the ecological environment and economic life. Today, in the fifth topic, we want to look at how the ecological environment affects the economic lives of people and characters. Because in this unit, our focus is eco-literatures, how the ecological environment affects literature and how it affects humanity. Because literature is a representation of life, and they want to see how the ecological environment affects the lives of people through fictional representations. So, in literary texts, the ecological environment functions as the primary architect of human economic destiny, dictating the modes of production and the socio-economic hierarchies that govern life. So, in John Steinbeck's The Pearl, for example, the coastal ecosystem of La Paz defines the community's livelihood through pearl diving. The sea is both a source of biological sustenance and a fecal provider of material wealth. So, of course, one of our major texts will be the pearl, and then we have the short story on the market day. So, what are our expected learning outcomes? Number one, explain how the natural environment dictates modes of production, resource distribution, resulting in economic structures within society. So, how does the ecological environment affects the economic activities of characters? Then we should critique the process by which natural resources are transformed into economic assets and how this transformation influences social mobility and labor exploitation. Then number three, analyze how the ecosystem of La Paz shapes the characters' livelihoods and the colonial power dynamics in John Steinbeck's The Pearl, and then examine how ecological features and physical landscape determine the social and political conditions in Kialo Mativos on the market day. So I don't know if you read on the market day? Have you had any chance to look at on the market day, Felix?
Not yet. I've just started from the first session since I managed to, after getting correct my details.
All
So I
right,
started from the first session, writing notes, going through everything
all right.
step by step.
Uh,
Yes.
but one way of doing that is to also have some presentation, and then you people can present in advance. Once you present in advance, then you can be able to you can look at other things. You can look at the activities later on. Um, so. So, according to Everett 2010, the natural environment is the fundamental pillar of economic functionality. Yeah. So, Everett argues that the environment determines the economic lives of people. And this influence is manifested in two primary ways. One, direct contributions. The environment serves as a reservoir of essential raw materials. For example, minerals, timber, and water. Eh? Like now, if a country has minerals and then it mines them, it actually impacts positively on the economic life, of people. Look at a country like China. China has exploited its mineral resources very well. And because of that, coupled with the high population and hardworking people, and of course, good governance. Now it's one of the leading economies in the world. So we cannot just look at the human side and say because the Chinese are hardworking. No. The ecological environment of China, yeah, also determines determines, look at countries like Russia. Russia is the largest country in the world with enormous resources in oil. And so because of that, it has been able to become one of the superpowers. Like during the Second World War, yeah, its ability to use its minerals and to mine them and to produce a lot of military innovations, it enabled them to win against the Germans. So the ecological environment matters a lot according to Everett 2010. There's also what we call indirect contributions. Indirect contributions, the ecosystem services, including nutrient cycling, flood mitigation, water filtration, provide the structural stability required for a functional economy. So we cannot have all these things without, we cannot have water filtration without the presence of water. We cannot have nutrient cycling without the presence of nutrients. We cannot have flood mitigation without the presence of floods. So all these things provide structural stability required for a functioning economy. Yeah. So some of our primary texts, for example, when look at the Pearl and Chialo Mativo, on the market day is just a short story, and that's why it will be very easy and convenient for you to go through it. So the ecological setting in these texts is not merely a background, but what? A deterministic force. It determines the economic conditions of the characters. In the Pearl, for example, the setting of La Paz, California, is defined by duality of the Gulf. And Steinbeck describes a mirage landscape where the air magnifies and obscures reality, reflecting the uncertain nature of the Pearl diving economy. And right from the time, Kino discovers the Pearl. I don't know, were you able to read the Pearl, Felix? It was actually a set book. Were you able to read it?
Yes, I remember just reading it exactly, not into details because it was an optional text, if I remember.
Yeah, it was
So
an
the one I
optional
used to,
text. Were you able to read at least once?
yes, I have the idea of Kilo, the Pal, and then we have got, in fact, the central idea of the Pal, where you find I don't, that is
Yeah,
critically remember the plot, but
I
I
don't
have
remember the floor.
the rough,
Yeah,
the,
but here
of
we'll
what,
just use it as an example. I think here your major text is on the market day, but it's also good. You look at the PAL. I don't know. I will check the core text and see if it is one of the core texts. So Chalo Mativos on the market day is set in Wingo Valley, a landscape gripped by a devastating prolonged drought. So here the ecological setting is one of ill will and a cast red balls of sun. So the absence of rain has collapsed the traditional agricultural economy, forcing the protagonist Kamali Lango into a precarious business of cattle raiding. So you'll have time to read this short story and see the challenges that Kamali Lango goes through. He loses all the property he had. In fact, Kamali Lango had only one bull remaining, and he loses it. He loses it as he is walking, a long distance from the market towards home. I think he was going to the other market to sell it, but because of thirst, and the harsh environmental conditions, is unable to reach the other market to sell it, and actually it dies, and the bull dies with all his savings. And as he goes to the market, the writer describes the ecological environment, the desert conditions of his area, and we're able to see how the ecological environment affects the economic fortunes of the characters. So in the two short stories, we can see on the right, we can see Kino. Yeah, Kino is able to discover the pearl, and the pearl affects his life. It affects his material life. Although at the end of the day, the pearl brings a lot of problems. But even with the problems, you can see that the environment determines the economic activities that are chosen by the people of La Paz. The ecological environment affects the economic fortunes of the people of La Paz. And then the other picture is now Kamali Lango. Kamali Lango loses the bull with all the savings uh, that he had. That actually he spends all his savings to buy a bull, and then on the way it dies. So the bull dies with all his savings. So his poverty arises from the ecological environment where Kamali Lango, yeah, has been born. So we are arguing in this particular course session that the economic conditions, the economic conditions are determined by the ecological environment. Yeah. So, and this one, I think you should present this next week. I want us to have some presentations so that we were able to read certain books, especially this cortex. This is the one of the ways through which we'll be able to read them. So I would like you for next week, before again we learn, or after you make a presentation on Chalo materials on the market day, prepare a presentation on how the ecological environment determines the economic fortunes of Kamalilango and the community at large. So that is your assignment for next week. And I also give you some assignments for cell 81, because we are now in the middle of the course, and we need to do some assessments so that by the end of the coverage, you are just free to revise for your exams. So take the presentation seriously, and where I ask you to write a term paper, ensure you write. But of course, also keep going through the activities. I know because of maybe too much work, we may not be able to go through all the activities, but keep going through them. Keep going through them. But this one, ensure you present because it is a part of the assessment. Then we move on now. So our focus now will be the PAL. In this session, we will focus on the PAL. So in John Steinbeck's The PAL, the sea serves as both a provider and a source of temptation, fueling the villagers' desperate dreams of wealth and status. So it's like the people of La Paz basically depend on the sea. Without the sea, they do not have any other economic activity they can call their own. The sea makes them fishers, and as they fish, they're also able to look for the pearl, yeah, the pearls, and sell them from the fishes in the sea. So you can see that without the sea, which is the ecological environment, their survival, is not predictable. They cannot predict their survival without the sea. So when Kino discovers that the pearl of the world, the news spreads very rapidly, creating a sense of restless anticipation throughout the town. Yeah. So one time he was fishing, then he caught a fish, and when he opened, he found a pearl, and it was a beautiful pearl, worth enough money. Yeah. And that evening, in fact, the whole village was affected by Kino's discovery. And in fact, he was visited by thieves the same night. So his life starts changing. And he starts having many dreams, how he will educate his children, and even the wife, and how he will buy his wife good things. So his vision and his personality is all affected by the discovery. And much as the book becomes homocentric by focusing on Kino's attitude towards the pearl, in this particular unit, we believe it is the pearl which is an ecological feature, that should be appraised. We should not just focus on greed and all that, but let us look at how the ecological environment can affect the characters like Kino. Sometimes the place where people grow, the ecological environment in which people grow, that's what Steinbeck is trying to suggest. that the ecological environment in which people grow, it affects their character. The same way to Kamali Lango. Because of the ecological environment, Kamali Lango um, has a very courageous and courageous attitude towards life and very optimistic. He has to be hopeful because of the harsh, ecological environment. He has to be hopeful, So the ecological environment determines even the personality of people, the character of people. We shouldn't just focus on Kino as a great person. Let's also look at, we argue that in this particular unit, we argue that the environment, the ecological environment, has made Kino to be who he is, to be who he is. Yeah. So because of the pearls in the sea, when the people get the pearl, they get affected. When they get the pearls, they get affected. They change, because they know when they sell these pearls, they get out of money. And so the love of money becomes a feature of the population around La Paz. Even the thieves, they love money. Yeah. So don't just look at Kino. Even the thieves love money. Even the pearl traders also love money. And it's because of the presence of the pearls around La Paz. And what has got the pearls? The ecological environment has ensured supply of the pearls. If there were no pearls around that particular place, the characters of these people would be different. The characters of these people would be different. So following the discovery, Kino's personality undergoes a radical shift towards self-destruction. He becomes consumed by extravagant visions, a formal church wedding for Joanna, his wife, his quality clothing and shoes, and a fine black felt hat for himself. He starts even having a sense of class because of what the ecological environment has provided. Yeah. So these desires replace his former humility with a sense of self-importance. So I'm arguing that, it is the ecological environment that avails the pearls, and these pearls therefore they affect or they change the characters of Kino and Joanna. So Kino's transformation is also marked by a new violent temperament. Yeah. He also becomes very violent. He becomes willing to kill to protect his prize, attacking intruders with animalistic ferocity. Yeah. So we are arguing that it's the ecological environment that has availed pearls, and the pearls therefore have an impact on the characters. So the mounting animosity gradually numbs his conscience. What begins as a defensive violence eventually leads to murder. He's able to even kill someone. He becomes a murderer just because of the pearl. And where has the pearl come from? From the sea. So in this particular session, we are saying, yeah, it is the ecological environment, yeah, that determines this economic life of people, and it also shapes their character. So while the critics often blame Kino's personal flaws for his ruin, the ecological environment, specifically the sea, provides the very object that triggers his greed. That's what we are saying. So in this particular unit, don't ignore the non-human environment. Do not ignore the non-human environment. We are saying that the ecological environment, yeah, has a lot of impact on the lives of people, on the lives of people. So by presenting the oysters and their treasures, nature shapes Kino's identity, leading him to sacrifice his ethical values and his only child in a futile pursuit of wealth. So by the end of the story, Kino loses his son. He loses his son because of wealth. So we are saying the materialism in this particular novella arises from the ecological environment. Do not ignore. We should not ignore. I argue that we should not ignore the ecological environment. So style and ecological themes in the pearl. So we have symbolism. The pearl of the world serves as a central symbol of nature's latent power to corrupt. That nature, the ecological environment, has the power to corrupt. to corrupt. So in this unit, we are not anthropocentric. Yeah, we are not anthropocentric. We are not just saying, oh, whatever the love of money or whatever. No, we are also saying that the ecological environment can influence the economic and also the character of people. So the pearl of the world, the pearl came from a fish. yeah, and a fish was in the sea. So without the ecological environment, he wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah. So we are trying to say that it symbolizes, therefore, nature's latent power to corrupt. While the sea is a source of life, the pearl extracted from it represents the toxic intersection of ecology and materialism. So sometimes don't just blame people. We are saying, look at the ecological environment. Before you just blame Olaringoi for being a very harsh person in Blossoms of Savannah, look at the ecological environment from which, he has been brought up. Olaringoi has grown up in a very hot place. And that is why it's like because of the heat stress and all that, by nature, he's very militant and very harsh. Don't just blame Oloisidori. Look at the ecological environment from which he has grown in. From such a harsh place where they have grown up in Ingito, people have to be pastoralists because of the ecological environment. And because of pastoralism, they have so many raiders like the Ilaringon raiders who come to raid them. So men have to be very, very strong, very aggressive to protect the community from raiding. And that's why Oloisdori is such an aggressive person. We have to look at the ecological environment. It's not just about anthropocentric ethos. It's not just about homocentric ethos. It's not just about human themes. No. Let's also look at the ecological environment in which the characters have grown up. Then you have simile and metaphor. And to emphasize the hardening of Kino's soul, Steinbeck employs a cold, inanimate imagery. As Kino's conscience is dulled by violence, he becomes as cold and deadly as steel. Earlier, the news of the pearl is described as traveling like bushfire, a natural metaphor that highlights how the discovery of an ecological treasure, can rapidly consume a social structure. So he is affected. He's affected, and his character is consumed by a treasure from the ecological environment. Then we have auditory motifs like the song of the family and the song of evil are stylistic devices used to interpret the ecological atmosphere. The rhythmic sounds of the waves and the morning air are translated into internal melodies that reflect Kino's harmony or discord with his environment so that is all I want us to share today. That basically the ecological environment has the power to affect the characters or our personalities. That where we grow up, affects what we become. Sometimes people are harsh, not just because they're arrogant. Sometimes people are very loving, not just because of their choices, but because of the ecological environment where they have grown in. So this is just something to whet your appetite so that you can go online and also read. But for next week, you'll present on the market day. It's just a short story. And I think I've given you the question. This is your assignment for next week. This one here, you'll present this activity next week, and that's how I'm going to get your marks for your assessment. These presentations at master's level is very important for you to know how to make presentations. Yeah, so at this juncture, I now want to welcome you. If you have any question, you can also share your video so that you can make a presentation. Or if you have any question, you can ask. Karibu.
Yes, background.
Karibu. You can speak up. I hope you are now making. You can comment and then make a presentation. But before that, as you prepare, let me just pick a pen. I don't have a pen here.
Kufanya presentation. I want to do a presentation na tafuta background.
All right, we can continue.
Yes, for today's session, I may not have any question
Okay.
because I've got it.
Speak up, please. You can share your video. Is it possible?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. You share, we communicate
yeah,
better.
so,
Yeah.
so for today's session, I can say that number one, I've understood it properly because it was present talking about how the ecological environment can who are in that region sense link it to our communities in Kenya here, where we have got some regions like the Nyanza where there is mining of gold taking place. We see that they have got a good life compared to those who come from regions where they do not have got maybe things like gold or oil. My presentation today, I had saved it to my laptop and there's a button failing here.
Speak up, speak up. Your voice is down.
Very well in my laptop.
Okay, proceed. Proceed.
Hello, can you hear me now clearly?
I think perhaps I will need
Let me see
earphones.
if I can.
Proceed.
Okay. Yes, I hope you can now get me clearly. Yes. Laptop imekataa. Yes.
Yeah, proceed.
Yes. Let me, because I had tapped the whole assignment in my laptop.
I can hear you properly. I can hear you.
Yes. So I'm saying I typed it in my laptop, but I don't know why the cursor is now not working. There is a button which fails. So when I key in the password, I cannot access that is the.
Are you using a laptop or a phone?
Yeah, a laptop. I typed it in the laptop. And when we started the lesson, I placed it in the sleeping mode. So unfortunately, it is not picking my. There's a button which is failing here, but I can use the rough copy I have in my exercise book. I have a rough copy in the exercise book as a backup.
Okay. What if you share it? Is it possible for you to or you're using a phone to communicate?
Yes, I'm using a phone to communicate.
Yeah, use the rough. You can use the rough copy. You can use the rough copy.
Yes, because I'd not transferred the document to my laptop. To my phone. It is in the laptop and there's a button failing here.
Okay.
But now I'll use the rough copy to present.
Oh, yes.
So the assignment, the activity is was based on, that is, the question was select 4 proverbs with ecological images from an African society and examine how African communities use ecological images to elevate the influence of the ecological environment, and then present these findings to the class. So I took an approach of I have got some of the proverbs presented in Luo language and then translated, and only one in English. So I had got my introduction, which is in the laptop, but I will just give out roughly. We are looking at how the African proverbs, how Africans used how the Africans used proverbs by providing ecological images so that it could be memorable and interpreted. You know, one, the difference between human and the environment is one and the other. There's no difference because the other one survives because of the existence of the other. There's no difference according to the African cosmology. And we find that most of the African proverbs, and apart from proverbs in the stories, they intertwined the ecological images in their stories and the proverbs. Akin look or dissecting into the African proverbs, we can look into the following, like I had got the first one here. There is a proverb in The River and the Source by Margaret Ogola, which is a home without a daughter is like a spring without a source. And this is found in chapter 1, part 1 of the text, in page 2. And generally, or the literal meaning of the proverb is that it emphasizes that the daughters are the continuity or the future of a particular family. That without daughters, the continuity of that family is not possible, and it may lead to extinction. Ecologically, number one, the ecological image in this proverb is the spring. The proverb is a home without daughters is like a spring without a source. And the spring here is the ecological image. And the ecological interpretation of this particular proverb is that it highlights the importance of protecting the sources of our springs, because we know that springs provides water and water is life. So if we have the springs without a source, and the sources majorly are the mountains where we have trees, and then we cut down the trees, which leads to environmental degradation, therefore the springs will extinct, and this will lead to no water, and therefore the human life may totally end. And so we look at that particular proverb, a home without a daughter is like a spring without a source, has got to that ecological image and ecological meaning of protecting the sources of our springs. Again, in my second proverb, an analysis of how this particular proverb relates to, that is environmental protection, or how it promotes ecocentrism and advocates against homocentrism. Is the second proverb is the Luo proverb. I will read it in Luo and then put an interpretation. It reads, Piny oken mwandu mar kwere to en mwandu mar nyithindo. I repeat, Piny oken mwandu mar kwere to en mwandu mar nyithindo. That is a Luo proverb. Luos are the communities, one of the communities in Kenya. And they also have got several proverbs which relate to ecological proverbs, which contain ecological images, and they're meant to pass a particular information, at the same time promote the protection of our environment. The interpretation of that proverb means the earth is not an inheritance from our ancestors, but a trust for our children, meaning that our ancestors did not personally own the earth is not a personal property for our ancestors, but it is something which should keep and pass down to our children in the perfect form we found it. And
Just
the
repeat.
ecological image in that, yes,
Yeah.
I repeat the proverb.
Repeat the proverb.
The proverb is Piny ok en mwandu mar kwere to en mar nyithindo. I will forward the soft copy once I manage to open the laptop. So the translation is that the earth is not an inheritance. It is not an inheritance from our ancestors, but a trust to our children. So it means that our ancestors did not own the earth. They did not own the earth as a personal property, but they kept it in form so that it can be passed to the younger generation in the perfect form they found it. And the ecological image there is the earth. And therefore, we can find that ecologically, this proverb advocates for the environmental conservation and the sustainability of the living to ensure future generations have resources, so that when we are even maybe cutting down the trees for the construction or the infrastructure, which is also very good, but we need to also plant more to sustain the environment and conserve it properly, so that we can ensure that in future generation may also find the same resources which we need dearly. That is what that proverb advocates for. And so we can see that through African proverbs, there is a way in which the idea of eco-criticism is depicted clearly, and the survival between the human and the ecosystem is equal, where human cannot exist without the ecosystem, and the ecosystem, when misused by human, or may also perish, and we have got the calamities which may follow. My third proverb again is in the Luo language, and I will read it bit by bit. It is Koth goyo gima oyudo eliare. Koth goyo gima oyudo eliare. Koth goyo gima oyudo eliare, which translates to the rain beats or falls on whatever it finds on the home compound or on the compound. The rain beats or falls on whatever it finds on the home compound. So the ecological image here is the rain, and from the translation we can get the ecological meaning here, that disasters, the ecological disasters such as floods or even droughts, do not discriminate and affect everyone. And therefore, in such kind of situations, it requires collective resilience. And at the same time, it sounds as a warning to the predicaments we can face if we do not take care of our environment, if we don't maintain our riverbanks, if we don't plant the trees, then we can, and then we have the effect of global warming. Sometimes, not global warming, but the effect of floods. When we don't plant trees, we don't maybe maintain the riverbanks properly. If we till up to the riverbanks, then we can easily face disasters such as floods. And therefore, the proverb which translates to the rain beats whatever it finds on the home compound, is a warning that disasters, ecological disasters such as the floods, or sometimes even droughts, do not discriminate, but they affect everyone. And so therefore it is a warning to us that if we focus on the humans under the homocentrism by planting that growing of crops so that we can get food, clearing the trees, damaging the riverbanks because we believe they are fertile, and we do the croppings there, it may lead to floods which will affect everyone. And therefore it is a warning that we should focus, as we do that, we will also focus on the planting of trees, thereby putting the ecosystem in the center. It is a pillar which promotes ecocentrism. Then we have got the fifth proverb. The fifth proverb is my fifth proverb is Fulubende Oro Ngege. It's a very interesting proverb from the Luo community. Number one, Fulubende Oro Ngege. Fulu is a very small fish, the small fish in the lake, and the Ngege is the tilapia. So number one, the interpretation of this into English, the translation is that that even the small fish employs the large fish. The small fish employs the large fish, or somebody can also say the small fish can also maybe send or act as rulers against the rule over the small fish. And if you look at the analogy, in the lake, the big fish like tilapia always feed on the small ones. The fish, they feed on the small ones. So if the big fish like tilapia, if the big fish like tilapia misses or does not get the small fish like a fulu, which is in a low language a small fish, they will not have food to eat, and therefore the tilapia will perish. So if people are doing the fishing, because sometimes we use the small nets, which are majorly meant to trap the small fish, that is the fulu species, and this may lead to the perishing of the big fish like tilapia. What it logically means is that, again, another meaning is that the small or the weak creatures ecologically can also hold power and act upon the larger ones. And this emphasizes on the interconnectedness of all the life forms. That when we're looking at the ecology, we should not just we should respect all the small organisms and even the big organisms. There is a way in which they interconnect, and then even also the human beings coming in. So we should protect the plants, protect the small animals. There's also a way in which maybe their rot and decay leads to fertility of the ground, which results into healthy crops growing. So there's a way in which, starting from the smaller organisms to the larger organisms, humans should respect and make sure that they are conserved so as to create a balanced ecosystem which can lead to peaceful and prosperous existence of the human life. So from the above 4 proverbs, we can see that there's a way in which the African proverbs embedded the ecological images in their proverbs so that to create awareness to the listeners, the readers, and the listeners and the readers that it is very important for us to conserve our environment, and without the environment we cannot survive. And that is what I can present, or that is what I collected and organized for this particular activity on how the African proverbs were used to promote or elevate the influence of ecological environment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that elaborate presentation. Yeah, so you can see even the concept of holism comes out very, very, very clearly. Even those proverbs with homocentric messages, like is it number 5? You called it number 5, but maybe it was number 4. Even the small fish can rule over the large ones. Much as it may have a homocentric message about also maybe the importance of leaders respecting the subjects, but why the ecological features of fish? Why the ecological features of fish as an avenue of expression? So through that, you realize that and the way literature by nature, it has an element of ambiguity. literature has an element of ambiguity. And that's why I like the interpretation you have given it about the question of interconnectedness, interconnectedness, and the way you have also come to bring out the meaning of the large fish surviving on the small ones. And so much as human beings may also see themselves as superior, they need the ecological environment to survive. Yeah. And that's why you can see when you move away from this or anthropocentric ethos, you'll discover that nature appears very much even in our so-called homocentric literary genres, because literature has been seen as majorly anthropocentric. But you can see that even from our own genres, there is a lot of ecological concerns being expressed. And for this unit, we must recognize the importance of the ecological environment. That literature is not just about anthropocentric ethos, but literature is also about ecocentric ethos. And maybe next time you can also use slides. You can also use slides. You do know how to prepare slides? Do you know how to prepare slides?
Yes, I've done it sometimes back. I can still revisit and work on it.
Because now the reason why we want you to do that, as because you are now, as you grow into teaching and you go into teaching university and all that, you can be called upon anytime, even in an international conference, for you to present a paper. And sometimes I've met people who struggle so much, on how to prepare even slides. And you need to know how to. Maybe let me just show you something very shortly. Let me just show you something very shortly. It's very easy. It's something you just do in 10 minutes. Let me see if I can share something. For instance, let me share. This is PowerPoint. So this is PowerPoint. So you just come here. Do you see this new slide where the cursor is pointing? New slide?
Yes.
Yes. Once you just click here, yeah. Once you click there, you choose one of these. You just choose one of these are the formats. You choose one of them. Mostly I use the second one because it will enable me to have a title here. Then you write here. You write here Proverbs. Yeah. You write here Proverbs. Yeah. Then you come here, you write them in mother tongue, and then you write in English, the translation. So what you write on slides mostly, you just pick the major points. Slides are not supposed to have all the content, yeah, but they just supposed to have key points to remind you as you present. Like if you are presenting an exam, don't do it maybe the way lecturers do, because lecturers sometimes we may have a lot of content there, because I want it to also act as notes. That's why we do that. But for an exam, if you're presenting an exam, you just have keywords, you read through the topic, master it, and then you just have key points on the slides. So you just look at it, you remember and explain it as you move. Yeah. So once you finish writing, you save. You save on your desktop. So I'll also encourage you to use slides because these presentations are exams. They are exams, and when somebody makes a very good presentation, he scores more. Actually, at masters, we need more presentations and term papers. And very soon you'll be invited to attend seminars. Yeah. So when you go to a seminar, ensure you have prepared the slides. Like what I do, I prepare my slides so that when I teach, it is better. It's better. Like now, an online class like this one, if I just explain content, you may not be able to understand it very well. But when you use slides, when I use slides, last semester I taught UCU 104, and they have done very well. They have done very well. Just because they could see me, yeah, I could explain content. Then I could share content through these videos, so they could listen to the content anytime and then make notes. And actually, in a class of about 450, only two have failed. Yeah. And you see, it was an online presentation. So I also want you to pick these presentation skills. So next week, prepare some notes, prepare some slides, and then I'll give you a chance to share. When you are sharing, mostly what I do on Zoom, I open it. First of all, I open the slides. And then after I've opened the slides, I click on share. When I click on share, the comp will now take me to all my documents. And then I choose the one that I want. And then it comes. Yeah. So I want you to gain this skill so that by the time you finish these courses, you are confident in a PowerPoint presentations, because you are now training to be a teacher of higher institutions. So apart from defending the thesis, you also need good presentation skills for you to pass, because a thesis is an oral exam. And when you come with the slides, when you come to defend your thesis or your proposal, you will come with the slides. And I want you to learn now. You learn through these classes, so that by the time you come for your presentation, you have the competence. You have the competence. So digital literacy. Also, as a teacher of CBC, I hope you understand what it means. You understand what it means. So that's a good presentation. And thank you for attending. Now, I have not seen. Did Sheila talk to you? Has she talked to you?
No, I tried calling her today
Mm.
because I wanted to ask her about the procedure of the payment and booking for the exams, because I contacted the ICT
Mm.
and they told me that I should pay
Mm.
and book, so that at least before the closure of the system, which is by Friday, I think it should be Friday. So I wanted to contact Sheila and see if she
Mm.
had worked on that, and
Yes.
if I could easily just do it without coming to the university. But I could not find her completely. I tried the whole day.
Yeah, I've also tried to call, and there she comes. She has now come in. Sheila, how are you? Sheila, can you um how are you? Yeah, she has come in. I think she needs to talk to us. Um and she needs to also guide you, because Sheila, how are you? Can you unmute? We are waiting for your presentation, and also we were talking about you. We have tried to call you and we did not get you. Sheila, can you speak? Sheila, how are you? Unmute. We are doing the presentation bit, and Felix has just finished the presentation. Sheila, and we also want you to talk to Felix about I cannot hear you. You are speaking, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. I also show us your video, because it is a presentation day. And we want you to start by guiding Felix about the issue of payment and booking without coming to Muranga. Can you talk to us? We cannot hear you, Sheila.
So I'm saying
We cannot hear you.
about
Yes. Move
the
closer to your
payment.
phone. We cannot hear you. You are unmuted. You are unmuted, but we cannot hear.
Okay, about the payment. Is it the registration fee or the fee payment?
Felix, can you speak to? Can you speak? Felix, can you
It
explain?
is the fee payment, the fee payment.
Come close to your phone, Felix. You are very low. Move closer to your phone.
It is
Fee payment.
Fee payment.
Yes,
Okay.
because
I don't know.
I need to. Yes.
I don't know about that yet, but I am sure I know friends who are doing it. I've not paid it as yet. But can I get back to you maybe later?
But you have Felix. You have the account. So you have the fees. Sheila, you pay on the university account, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Does
Yes.
someone need to come here to which bank? Is it Equity?
No,
Is it Equity or KCB? Sheila,
I think KCB,
have
but
you have,
let me confirm.
have you
Let
been
me
given
confirm.
the
I'll check.
account, Felix?
Unfortunately, the calling letter did not contain the fee structure.
Okay, and then we can also ask on the group. The COD is on the group. So we will just ask on the group and he will give us. We don't need to come here, surely. I remember. Do you pay in checks, Sheila? Do you pay in checks? Undergraduate, Sheila,
I
you are here in the undergraduate. How did you pay your fees?
through the school account.
You went to the bank or
Yes.
and then after you receive the slip, do you need to bring it?
No, you don't.
Huh. And then the issue of booking, that is done online. That one, the COD assists people to book, and sometimes you also book. Si pia mna report nyinyi wenyewe. Sheila, si mna book.
Yes,
Si mnaingia tu kwa
report.
portal na mna book. And that's what Felix is missing because Sheila was here at undergraduate, so you know how you used to pay fees. Just the same procedure, and how you used to book. You remember, Sheila, the way you used to book for your units and whatever.
Yes, if he's having an issue with that, I'll make a video of the
Now,
payment.
now the fee structure.
You are breaking, Felix. Felix, you are breaking.
Then the fee structure.
You are
That is
breaking. You are
that
breaking.
is
Felix, you are breaking.
missing again. Hello.
You are breaking.
Yes. I was talking about the fee structure
Mm-hmm.
because I was checking at the old letter and there was no fee structure. So uh, again, that is what I tried to inquire, but I not got the answer.
Sheila, do you have the fee structure? And then that's why we have that group. The COD is on that group, and he has all the information. He has all the information. You also need to have his number. Literature is under the Department of Humanities. So Dr. Ndavula has all the information. I don't fear to talk to him. I'll give you the number. Some things you can ask him because he's now the chief administrator actually of this particular unit. The unit is housed under Dr. Ndavula, all the course, the curriculum. So don't fear to ask so that we don't want people to just keep quiet and then, So thank you for raising the issue. I'll raise it up. I'll raise it with the COD. I'll find out. And Sheila, you're also saying there are some issues that you're trying to go in and it's not working. So raise the issues. So Sheila, you are absent in our class. So it is now you. First of all, tell us, did you forget the class? After that, we are waiting for your presentation and then we close. Sheila, it is you
Sir,
now.
I did not forget.
Yes?
Sorry, I'm sorry I was late. I did not forget the class. I was actually ready by 30, but when I saw that we didn't have the class by then, I thought maybe to
Speak up, speak
there's
up, speak
something.
up.
Oh, sorry, I thought you could hear me. Can you hear me now? Sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yes. I was saying I was actually ready by 5:30, but when the class didn't start by then, I thought maybe you postponed it to maybe some other time or something. So I didn't get it when you said that we should get to class.
All right.
I didn't see that.
I started
I didn't know the class started.
at 5:30. We were I was doing some administrative work. That's why I came late. But nowadays we start at 5:30 most of the time. So that's why I started at 5:30. So just anytime. I know I wanted the class to begin at 5, but just ensure that by 5:20 you are closer. I've taught the class. I'm through. Felix has presented. So are you ready to present now?
Yes, sir. I have already actually thought that the class started at 6:32 something when you sent the message.
Where have you gone? Where has she gone again? Yeah, so if she can present, if she cannot, she can present next week as you present the next one, because this is actually an exam. So Sheila, can you present in 10 minutes?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm having an issue with my mic. I was saying yes, I can. Actually, so the message was set at 6:32 that we should start the class. So I thought that is the time the class was starting.
Okay, just present. Let's forget about that. Just present.
So yes, the question.
Show
So
us
yes,
your
my
video,
first point.
or your video cannot even work. You're having connectivity issues, eh? Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yes.
Continue.
So my first point is fields with trees are footprints of God. That is a Kenyan proverb. Fields with trees are footprints of God. This encourages the preservation of the natural landscapes or the ecosystem because the ecosystem was considered as, or the environment was considered as sacred.
Repeat, please. Repeat the proverb.
Fields with trees are footprints of God.
Okay.
Yes, that was a Kenyan proverb that shows the sacredness of the ecosystem or of the environment. Are you getting me, sir?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes. So that was encouraging people to preserve the environment because it is, or the trees because it is something that is sacred. And then you have eat but leave some in the forest for others. That is also a Kenyan proverb. Eat but leave some in the forest for others. There is a Kenyan proverb that was encouraging people to stop things like deforestation, yes, and to conserve the environment because there are still others that are still coming to use it. So it's important to conserve it for the next generation.
Speak up, speak up. We cannot hear you.
Oh, I was saying it leaves some in the forest for others. That is a Kenyan proverb that was encouraging people to conserve the environment, knowing that there is also another generation that is coming after them, so they should keep the environment for them. That is, in this case, the forest, the trees. So they should not do the deforestation. Yes. Then another point: we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, We borrow it from our children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. That was a Kenyan proverb that was encouraging stewardship and telling people that they are the caretakers and the stewards of the environment, and they are not the owners of it. So they should, since it is said that they are inheriting it, they borrow it from their children, so they should be able to return it to them when it is good, when it is in a good condition.
Continue.
Yes. And then there's another one. Do not finish the arrowroot. Think of the future. That was also a Kenyan proverb that is just like the other one. It was encouraging sustainable harvesting, taking only what is necessary and leaving resources for renewal. So it was encouraging, just like the other one that I said previously, that they should, for example, if it is trees, if it is water and all that, they should take care of it, because there are still others who are coming. So they should not just think of themselves, but even as they deal with the environment, they should know that there is a generation that is coming. So whatever they do with it, they should conserve it for the next generation. And then when trees are being cut, the forest is noisy. Trees are growing, the forest is quiet. That is an African proverb that was highlighting the destructive and chaotic nature of deforestation. Yes, that is when trees are being cut, the forest is noisy. So that was versus the peaceful, constructive process of planting trees, or when trees are growing. So it was encouraging people to not do deforestation, to not cut trees, because it is chaotic and destructive.
Yes. Do you have any vernacular or original forms of these proverbs, or you just got the English versions from?
I got
Do you have any African vernacular forms of these proverbs?
not really.
All of them are in English,
Yes.
because in oral literature, because this one we have actually borrowed it from oral literature, and in oral literature we encourage you to use the first languages and then translate them into English. I know you will tell me maybe I don't know these languages, but you can just get them with technology. I want to encourage you, because in oral literature we want people to also learn African languages. That's what we are saying, and that is why what I will encourage you, you can even use AI, and then you ask it Kalenjin proverbs translated into English. Just try that, and you will find vernacular forms, because in oral literature we encourage students of literature to also promote African languages. If you are not cannot get that, but you cannot tell me you cannot get them. Just try it. Just go to Gemini and ask Gemini to give you 4 Kalenjin or 4 Luo or 4 Luya proverbs relevant to this, and then give me English translations. You'll be surprised at how that robot will teach you. And that's one way through which you can research, so that in oral literature we also encourage you to promote African languages. Otherwise, the proverbs are relevant, although most of them are also in line with the Buell's theory, except number 4. It must be number 4. Do not finish the arrowroot. Think of the future. This one is quite homocentric. So we also want you to don't just go for the ecotext. Like the last one is very ecocentric. We do not inherit the earth. Yeah, even that one, is it number 3 is also very ecocentric. We do not inherit the earth. from our ancestors. We borrow whatever. So that is very ecocentric. You don't have to focus so much on ecocentric proverbs. Mix also with homocentric ones, because we also want to argue that even those with homocentric messages, they have relevance to the ecological environment, like number 4. Yeah, number 4 could have a very homocentric message. Do not fish the arrowroot. Yeah, it has a very homocentric message, but it has relevance to the ecological environment. And then I also want to encourage you. There, I told Felix. I also want to encourage you to use PowerPoint slides. Use PowerPoint. Do you know how to prepare PowerPoint, Sheila? Do you know how to prepare PowerPoint slides? Just tell me genuinely.
Yes, I
Uh,
can.
you don't know how to. Yeah, so this is what you do. You just go to PowerPoint. Let me just share this so that I also show you what I showed. Let me demonstrate this. So you open PowerPoint. I hope you can see that. Do you see this slide? Do you see this slide, Sheila?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes, I can.
once you have opened PowerPoint, you of course you search here. You type at search, or you search your laptop or your computer and you write there PowerPoint. Then it will give you PowerPoint and then you open the PowerPoint slides. So once you have opened, you just come here at there is a home here, then you have new slide. You click on new slide, and once you click on new slide, it will give you the different formats. So you pick the second one, and then you write your title here. Proverbs. Yeah, it's very easy. Proverbs. Yeah, and then after that, you write your vernacular proverb, and then you write the translation. So for your question, just write the 5 proverbs on the slides. Like you can only use 2 slides, and then you save on your computer. You give it a name. Yeah. So in the PowerPoint presentation, we don't write all our explanation on the slides. You only write the key points that you will explain during the presentation. Yeah. Like now, if you had these particular slides, I wouldn't have told you to repeat, because once you share, like during the presentation now, you have your data on the computer, and then you open, first of all, you open the slides. You go to the documents and open the slides. And then you click, after that, you click share on your Zoom. Once you click share, it will bring all the documents you have opened. And then you click on the one you want to share, and then you click share. Once you do that, Zoom will bring it to the audience. Yeah. So I must show you how to do this so that yeah, I think we have lost her again, so that we have good presentations. So we will tell her what we have the assignment. We will tell her the assignment so that she also prepares the next presentation. Yeah, otherwise, I think Felix, let me wish you a good evening. And then I think we will talk to the COD so that just post your questions on the group, post your questions on the group and the COD will respond. The group for masters. Then we were to also tell Sheila to be more communicative. I know she's in Bomet, she's in Bomet. But I think she has network issues. Yeah, so thank you so much, Felix. Unless you have any other comment, we wish to stop there.
No,
But
then
Yes, Sheila, are you in class?
yes, I'm here, sir.
Yeah.
I was at
Yes, ask.
I was asking, so should I prepare the proverbs too with the
No, that one we are through.
okay.
So these presentations I'm actually examining you. Next week now you are not able to, but what I advise you, Sheila, is anytime you enter the class and you don't find us, don't move away. Around 5:30, because if I will postpone the class, I will tell you. I will post on the group, but I rarely postpone my classes. So today, but I've recorded this video. You'll also go through it. There is an assignment I've given for next week. And next week, we must have two presentations, this one and also for Cell 801. I will give you one for Cell 801 so that you present. Today's class was very short, just about how the economic environment, the ecological environment affects the economic lives of characters in the PAL and on the market day. And I've given an assignment on Chalo materials on the market day. I've shared the story. I'll also share the question with you so that you read and make a presentation next week. So we are sorry you came late, but at least you have made the presentation and I've given you your weaknesses. I've talked about the vernacular version and I've talked about the slides which Felix also did not have. So next lesson, I want the two of you to have slides. After you have gotten your data, you will not write it on paper, you will just make a presentation. So ensure you have some slides, prepare slides, and then you will present. I'll also give you a question for Cell 801 so that you also make a presentation. Any question, Sheila?
No, I have none.
All right. So let me wish you a good evening, great evening, and ensure you sign the attendance.
Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.